Creaking doors, unknown sounds, in the midnight, and scary films. All these are a nightmare in every child's life. But this is not the case for the 12-year-old Dana Matthews. The scary films became an area of interest for Dana, leading her to start hunting for the dead. The 12-year-old Dana Matthew and her friends were leading a 13-episode TV show, The Girly Ghost Hunter, which was aired on Canada's Space Network in 2005. Watching this show, another 16-year-old kid, Greg Newkrik, who had a similar kind of interest and was in his youthful jealous with Dana, tracked her down and started a ghost hunt along with her. They made the ghost hunting as their passion and have become a full-time paranormal investigators. In their decades of paranormal journey, they have come across many paranormal activities and possessed items, which were causing a nightmare to the people who might have moved to a haunted place unknowingly or might have had the possessed items without their knowledge. The duo, on their hunt for ghosts, also helped people get rid of the worst nightmares by collecting the possessed items from them. With the possessed items which they have collected in their haunting journey, they have started world's first traveling museum. The Traveling Museum of Paranormal and Occult. The museum is a mobile museum with which they travel to different places and showcase the museum. One fine day, two hikers were hiking in the mountains of Catskills, and on their way in a cave, they have seen a strange artifact which was made of dark wood and roughly hewed into the shape of a person, bearing 3 nails in each of its eyes, and a tiny noose looped around its neck. Seeing the doll, the hikers thought that it might be some ancient artifact, or a piece of art which might have some history of its shape. On the same night in their apartment while they were resting, they started hearing some footsteps and strange noises which they ignored, thinking the sounds could be of the neighbors. On the very next day, they continued to hear the same sounds which they found it to be irritating, and tried to look for where the sounds are coming from. But they could see nothing, or find out where they are hearing the sounds from. They were little frightened of the sounds they were hearing, and the nightmares they were experiencing. Soon they realized that they were experiencing these only after they brought the artifact to their home. It did not take long time for them to understand that it was all because of the strange doll, which they have brought it from the cave, when they found their sinks were automatically turned on randomly, and observed strange wet footprints all over their house. This is the point of time where the two hikers were really frightened of the strange things happening, and have no clue of what needs to be done. The immediate day, both of them started researching on the things they have experienced, and tried to find out ways to get rid of the doll. Soon they started to sense a strong smell of rotten eggs, and found their apartment to be filled with the stench of stagnant pond. The two hikers were in intense fear, and completely have no idea of what was going on. As part of their research, they heard about Greg and Dana, the Paranormal Hunters. They finally managed to get their appointment with Greg and Dana and explain the situations that were happening to them. Soon after they returned home, they were stunned and shivering in fear, for the unbelievable thing that they are seeing in their living room. Full-bodied apparition of a drenched old woman, staring right into their eyes. Both of their heartbeats were pounding, and they are speechless. They immediately left their home, and soon after that, they have handed over the doll to Greg and Dana. Greg and Dana, who have received the doll and named it as the Crone, and placed it in their house for their investigation. It's not so soon, even for them to realize the same things that had happened to the hikers were happening for them too. They have observed wet footprints all over their house. A crucifix that hung on the wall above, where the Crone was placed, had its plastic Jesus ripped from its base, without the crucifix falling off the wall. One day, as part of their traveling museum showings, they have unveiled the Crone for the public to see. Soon after unveiling the Crone, a woman nearby dropped her drink on a table full of books. The lights began flickering. A man nearby had a powerful seizure that caused him to bite his own lip. Two men who mocked the crone at the museum earlier came within inches of their lives when their car lost control and skidded into oncoming traffic. The two men who had the accident informed Greg and Dana that they had resumed ridiculing the crone just before the car lost control. Looking at these incidents, Dana and Greg have decided to return the crone to Catskills, as it belonged there, and that is what the crone desires. The crone is now no more shown in the Traveling Museum of Paranormal and Occult, knowing of what the crone is capable of. And this is one of the most haunted artifacts in their museum. And in fact the most haunted and dangerous artifact. Not only having the crone causes the trouble, mocking the crone as well causes the same effect as the original. Since then no one is allowed to either see or mock. But that is not yet. Soon after the crone was returned to its original place, Greg received a phone call from an unknown person. And he heard,
"Help me. Help."